So 2 sine pi x minus 3. We're going to label the stuff first. Amplitude is 2, obviously, because there's a 2 in front. Okay, next thing we'll do is period length. So if we're doing period length here, Jaden, what do we start with? Start with 2 pi always. Is it going to change here? Yeah, why is it going to change? There's something in front of her x. So she said pi. So what am I going to do with that pi? Flip it. Multiply by the reciprocal. So she's going to multiply by 1 over pi. And then what can you do? Cancel the pi's. So her period length is just going to be 2. Okay, some of us get worried by that. It's easier. Okay, don't let that frustrate you. Next thing we'll do is vertical shift. So, Kyla, what's our vertical shift going to be here? Down 3. We're looking for something tagged on the end. So in this one, I've got this minus 3 tagged on the end. It's not inside of parentheses. So that's a vertical shift, and it's telling her to go down 3. Okay, the next thing we would look for is horizontal shift. Amber, do we have a horizontal shift here? Where would we look for horizontal shift? Inside the added or subtracted inside the parentheses. There's nothing added or subtracted, so no horizontal shift. Okay? Let's make our graph. So I've got my x-axis and my y-axis. If I'm being a smart math student, I know that I'm going down 3, so I want a little bit more of the graph downward. If you don't do that again, who cares? But it's something to think about. First step is we're going to label the period length. Always 4 hash marks. If our period length is 2, this one's going to be 2. If that one's 2, Deja, what's the middle line going to be? 1, half of that. And if that's 1, what's half of 1 going to be? 1 over 2, a half. Then I can count. This is 1 half. This is 2 halves. This is 3 halves. And then 2. Questions on labeling period length? Did that first. The next step says add a midline. Okay, so if I'm adding a midline, Ebony, what am I going to do to add a midline here? Down 3, whatever our vertical shift is. So she says go down 3. So 1, 2, 3 to negative 3. And she's going to draw in her new midline. Cool, we got that. Next thing it says mark our amplitude. So Samantha, if I'm marking my amplitude here, what am I going to do with that?
You're going to go down 2 from the midline and up 2 from
Why are we going to go up and down 2?
because there's a 2 in front of the sign.
Yep, a 2 in front of our sign. That's our amplitude. So she said go up 2 and down 2. So negative 3 plus 2 would be negative 1 up here. And then when I go down, what's it going to be?
It's going to be
Negative 5. Cool, that's her top and her bottom. Good, we've done that. So the next thing it says is horizontal shift. We don't have one, so now we can graph it. Okay, so Caleb, it's a sine curve. So if we're graphing sine, where do we start? We start in the middle. Then from that middle dot, where am I going to go? Up. Yeah, up on that 1 half hash mark. I'm going to go to negative 1. I'm going to go to the top. And then from there, I'm going to go middle, bottom, middle. Good. There's my curve. A little bit tougher, okay? But again, it's never going to be tougher than that on a test or quiz. If you can follow those steps, you're going to be really good when we get to test or quiz. Practice and the hardest ones you can do. That way later on it's a little bit easier. So 4 cosine x minus pi plus 1. Amplitude is 4. Period length here. Darius, what's our period length going to be? 2 pi. Did it change on this one? Why not? What do we look for to see if it changed? In front of the x. There's nothing in front of his x, so it's just 2 pi. Jasha, vertical shift. Is there going to be a vertical shift on this one? Up 1. We look whatever's tagged on the end. She's got a plus 1 on the end, so she's going up 1. We got a little bit confused on horizontal shift. Okay, horizontal shifts, whatever's inside the parentheses. Okay, so Kyla, is there something inside of our parentheses? It says minus pi. So we're going to have a shift of pi. We got to know which direction are we going to go pi. Point, which direction should that take us? That should take us to the right. Okay, it's opposite what you think when it's a minus sign that takes you to the right. Most of us that missed that one took it to the left instead of to the right. So I'm going to graph it. I need a little bit more up because the vertical shift is 1, and I need a little bit more to the right since I'm going right pi. So as I do this, I'm going to make my graph kind of look like that. Again, if you don't do that, it's not the end of the world, but just give yourself some space. 4 hash marks like normal. Our label's 2 pi, so I can do that real quick. 2 pi, pi, pi over 2, 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves. I labeled my period length. The next thing it asked me to do was add my midline. So, Janice, what am I going to do to add a midline here? Yep, your vertical shift is up 1, so all she's going to do is go up to 1, put her midline right there. Okay, good, we got that. Next thing it asks us to do is to mark our amplitude. So, Jasmine, what am I going to do to mark my amplitude here? Up 4. So I'm at 1. It's like adding 4 to that. When I add 4 to 1, what do I get to? 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the top of my graph. If I go down 4 from 1, how low am I going to go? -3. It's like subtracting 4. 1 minus 4 gets you -3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. -3. Okay, I like to see those labels on it. That way I know what you're doing. Okay, we just marked our amplitude. The next thing it asks us to do is horizontal shift. If you've got a horizontal shift, and we do on this graph, it's right pi. Normally, where does a cosine graph start? At the top. So normally, I would go right here, and I would put my starting dot right there on the top. But that's not going to happen on this one. What do I need to do with that dot? Shift it to the right. And I need to shift it to the right pi. So how many hash marks do I need to move to go pi? 2. 1, 2. So I'm going to take this here and go 1, 2 over. There's my new starting dot right on the pi. Okay, it's right where that pi is, right above it. Okay, then once we've done that, we can make, I went to the right 2. What else should I do then if I want to go to the right 2? I'm going to add 2 more hash marks to make sure I get a full period length in. Okay, so as I do this, top, middle, bottom, middle, top, make my curve. There's my curve. Okay, a little bit tougher. Questions on that one? Okay, that's as hard as it gets.